Now, Dragon Quest is a gaming franchise I've only recently started getting into. While I've always known about it due to it being one of the most iconic JRPG series around, and of course for featuring art and designs from Akira Toriyama. However, I never played anything Dragon Quest related till the Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC, where I decided to finally get into the franchise with the 3DS port of Dragon Quest VIII, which I loved, and right after that I picked up Dragon Quest XI on the Switch. While doing that, I decided to start a Dragon Quest manga, but not just any Dragon Quest manga, but The Adventures of Dai, a series that was published on Weekly Shonen Jump, using the famous RPG series as a backbone to create a delightful shonen adventure both fans of Jump and the games could enjoy equally. Before getting into the series, I was really craving some traditional shonen fun, and this series hit the spot perfectly. Honestly, after finishing Dai's adventure, I'm surprised I don't hear a lot of people talk about this series when talking about Jump manga from the 80s and 90s, as it's pretty much everything people talk and think about when reflecting on the classics from that era. Though luckily in recent years the series has started to get a lot more love, with Dai making an appearance in the Shonen Jump crossover game Jump Forces, as well as receiving an action game based off the series itself. And if that wasn't cool enough, we have a reboot anime coming in October 2020. That will most likely be a full adaptation of the manga, as the anime from the 90s was never able to. Hopefully this video raises some more awareness for the series, as if you're a fan of traditional battle shonens, then The Adventures of Dai is a hidden little gem I highly recommend. But now let's properly kick off this recommendation. The story here follows Dai, a mysterious boy raised on an island of peaceful monsters. Dai dreams of becoming a hero like the many legends he's heard, and as it turns out, he doesn't have to wait that much longer for that dream to come true, as Dai is visited by the previous hero Avon, who saved the world from the demon lord Hadler, who detects great power coming from Dai and trains him alongside his student Pop, a cowardly magician. However, the training is cut short when a resurrected Hadler appears, now demoted to Demon General, serving under the even more powerful demon lord known as Virn. In an attempt to save his students, Avon sacrifices himself, leaving Dai and Pop to set out on a grand adventure to complete their training, unite the other students of Avon, while making some more allies along the way, in order to take down the latest demon lord and his armies and generals. As much as I love this series, I have to admit it's a pretty simple shonen series, with all the good stuff you'd expect from one. Training arcs, transformations, hidden power-ups, pervy senseis, over-the-top friendship and camaraderie, villains turn allies, and of course, loads and loads of awesome action and special moves. While that could make the series very cliched and boring, I think the series is able to stop itself from coming across like that thanks to how everything moves in this series, as it's pretty efficient. It got straight to the point and didn't really stick around much afterwards, which honestly was perfect for someone like me who just wanted a quick action-adventure hype fix. Dai's adventure is a sizable story, being around 349 chapters, which is lengthy, but thanks to the way the story arcs nicely flow into each other, you don't really feel it. With Dai and friends going off against a new evil general each arc, slowly cutting down Virn's forces arc by arc, which leaves a very nice sense of progression. However, even in the smaller arcs that are dedicated more towards training, characters not only get stronger, but also have time to learn more about themselves and reflect, which all helped reading this series feel like a breeze. One of the more surprising elements I found out about this series when researching it is that it was written by Sanju Riku, who many might not know by name, but he's worked in a lot of mediums outside manga, like anime, tokusatsu, and even video games. Manga-wise, he did the series Beat the Vandal Buster. Anime-wise, he wrote for many series, but notably the MD Geist OVAs, as well as the original Guyver OVAs. Toku-wise, he was the head writer for the Super Sentai series Kyoryuger, as well as Kamen Rider Drive and Double, in which he also made the manga sequel for. And getting into gaming, he came up with the concept for the PS2 JRPG Inferior Fantasia, which, like, holy shit, that's just one hell of a resume right there. But getting back to Dai, of course, the main highlight of the series is the action, which is a lot of fun. There's loads of cool special moves and impact panels, and thanks to the sort of different classes of Dai and his party, the action is nicely varied with magic, different types of weaponry, and even martial arts. And when they all fight alongside each other, It really helps make the action feel like how I'd imagine the turn-based combat of the games would actually feel if you got to see them properly, with maybe a slight dosage of Dragon Ball, which I guess is fitting considering who does the art for the games. The action is also heightened thanks to a great sense of escalation and scale, since as the series progresses, each new threat Dai and friends go up against get progressively more brutal and menacing. The best arc to properly display this is the Baron arc, where Dai goes against one of the fiercest and most tragic warriors of the series, Baron and his Dragon Rider Knights, which is probably one of the best arcs of the series, as well as the first to truly push the main cast to their absolute limit, leading to some of the best fights and reveals of the series, setting the tone for later threats of the manga, and what our heroes need to do in order to truly put an end to the Demon Lord's reign. It's an arc that's definitely going to be super hype once the anime gets around to it. On top of the kick-ass action, we also have a good cast of heroes and villains. On the hero side, of course, we have our main hero, Dai, who's just a really sweet kid who's easy to root for. I mean, come on, just look at him. Over the course of the series, he learns more about himself and what makes a true hero, making for a satisfying journey in seeing his growth throughout the series. However, some of the best development of the manga goes to Pop. Starting off as an absolute coward, he slowly grows to be more courageous, constantly proving himself as a vital member of the team. Though despite that, he often struggles internally due to him feeling inferior to the natural talent of his peers. Then there's also Marm, another student of Avan who Dai and Pop meet up with later. She eventually becomes a martial artist and learns a pretty sweet special move, but honestly beyond that, she doesn't do a whole lot when compared to the rest of the cast of heroes here, which is a bit unfortunate. Same sadly could be said for the next ally of justice of the team being Crocodine, who actually starts off as the Beast General of Viren's army, but is moved by the honor and kindness of Dai. While he is strong, he's mainly around to shield others from critical attacks with his body. But at the end of the day, you just can't help but love him because he's just a big crocodile dude, and that's awesome. And the final main hero of the group, and next to Dai, is one of my favorites of the series, Hyunkel, another student of Avan, who for a brief period of time served under the Demon Lord, till Dai and Pop rekindled his spark for justice. Hyunkel is just badass, with lots of cool special moves and great fights under his belt. Not to mention that he has not just one, but two cool ass battle armors. And listen, I am a simple guy, you have cool ass battle armor and I am already interested. Going into the villains, there is a diverse group of baddies for Dai and friends to go up against, like the previously mentioned Baron, as well as the mysterious and equally deadly Miss Viren and Kill Viren. However, the one that stands out among them all is Hadler. The ex-Demon Lord, now General, constantly pushes himself beyond his limits throughout the series in order to prove to himself that he can take on a hero, and his personal journey growing alongside Dai makes for many very impactful moments, as well as many great designs for him. Speaking of designs, the art here was done by Inada Koji, who in the beginning had a more simple, unique style to the series, which can really be easily seen with Dai, who starts off looking like a normal sweet kid. However, once the art style shifts, Dai and the rest of the series gets very Toriyama-esque, especially with the monster designs that are pretty much ripped from the game. Still, there's just enough of a unique tinge to it all to help make it its own thing, especially with some of the more original monster designs, which are both amazing and terrifying. While my experience with the Adventures of Dai was definitely a positive one, there are a few elements of the series I wasn't too fond of. One being the really forced romances in the series that by the end just don't go anywhere. It's a minor annoyance in the grand scheme of things. However, my main problem with the series comes from the final arc. While the final arc is full of spectacular character moments, fights, as well as still manages to pull off a good conclusion, the final arc of the Adventures of Dai is just littered with ass pulls. And for the sake of not getting into deep spoilers, there are a lot of moments and reveals here that cheapen or straight up just ruin previous parts of the manga. It's not like the series didn't have plot conveniences before this, but they were a lot easier to digest. While not enough to ruin the series completely for me, it did definitely sour my overall experience, which, considering how well things were going till that point, is really sad. But like I mentioned, there's still plenty of fantastic moments in the final arc, and it still manages to wrap up rather nicely. Overall, Dragon Quest: The Adventures of Dai is an extremely enjoyable action-adventure series that fans of both the Dragon Quest franchise as well as old school battle shonen will definitely have a lot of fun with. And who knows, maybe this manga might even get you into the games, which I also highly recommend. Really looking forward to the upcoming anime so I could re-experience the series once again. And as always, I am Mr.FalconPunch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you already checked out this series, tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.